What is up, YouTube? I hope you're having a great today, yesterday, and tomorrow. We were finally able to get our hands on the Edmontosaurus mod that is coming any day now to Path of Titans. This is the mod that is being made by the Divine Beast mod team, and let me tell you something, guys, it is incredible. Genuinely one of the best mods or dinosaurs I have played in this game to date. We're going to go over all the animations, we're going to go over the ability list, and we even have a sneak peek of what this beast is going to be like in full combat with an adult Rex. So strap on, get your veggie burger eating butts ready. Let's get cracking. Now let's talk about the Edmontosaurus subspecies. Now this is a tricky one. Every single thing we talk about today is going to have two parts because they're going to be releasing two mods, technically. The Edmontosaurus Annectens, which is the larger species, and the Edmontosaurus Regalis, which we are going to cover both in depth as we go. First, we're going to start with the Edmontosaurus Annectens that we're seeing right here, where we have the balanced variant, the Kryppkeepa. This one is obviously still huge. You still have a bunch of body. It is based loosely off of a hippopotamus. That's what this one is based off of. So you're going to see that in its abilities and everything else as well. But the Kryppkeepa is the balanced version. Then you have the speed variant, which is the Kryppkeepa. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's as good as I know how to pronounce it, but this is the speed variant. Here you can see a different set of its head. It's got a little bit more of that dip at the neck, a leaner kind of gullet, if you might say. But all around it looks just to be a little bit faster, a little bit more mobile in the water. And lastly, we have the Annecten. This one is the defensive build. You can see the thicker back hips. The head gets a little bit more full. It's got a thicker gullet where it tends to be more full in that area. All around, some really cool variants for the Edmontosaurus Annectens. Now we have the Edmontosaurus Regalis, which is the much smaller subspecies of the Edmontosaurus comparatively to the Annectens. You start off with the balanced version called the Dicotalis. This one has the crown on its head, the cool spiny ridge down the back line. It looks exactly how it's supposed to. It's a very cool variant. You can tell it's much smaller right off the bat. Then we have the speed version, which is the Albertalis. Here you can see something very distinct. It has a big crown on the top of its head, a much slender neck to chest area. It looks a little bit more streamlined and clearly represents that speed build well. And lastly, we have the Regalis, which is the defensive build. And all of you are going to notice it right away. That big, thick skin gullet. It looks tanky, it looks thicker, and it gives it such a full and big-bodied feel. Now let's talk about the abilities of the Edmontosaurus. We're going to start with the Annectens here. We have the head slot, which you have the traditional bite. It does medium damage, and I will say in my testing while we were doing combat tests, do not sleep on the bite. Because of your combat weight, you do a significant amount of damage with this ability. Then onto the senses, where we start to get some unique abilities for the Edmontosaurus. Your first one is heavy keratin. This deals 10% more damage on all attacks, but takes 10% more damage as well. If you're fighting mid tiers or anything below mid tiers, heavy keratin is always going to be your go-to because you dealing 10% more damage is so much more significant than taking 10% more from smaller creatures. This is a no-brainer. Next, we have denser bones in the sense slot. Increase bone break regen by 35%. That's massive, and allows Annectens to swim slightly better, but decreases sprinting speed by 10%. So if you're migrating through water and you think you're going to fight larger creatures, this is very clearly the one you're going to want to go with. Now onto the front limb ability, which is the stomp ability. Do a double stomp with both of your front feet. That deals very high damage. It is a tricky ability to land, as many of the stomps are, but when it does, it makes a heck of a significant impact on your opponent. Now we go to metabolism, where we are going to see some very unique abilities. First is herbivore, the classic. We all know this. You're able to eat berries and fruit with moderate food drain. But now we're starting to get into some cool ones. Pescatarian. This is where you start to see the influence from the hippopotamus. able to eat berries, flowers, fish, shellfish, nuts, and roots, and you have a fast food drain. And an even cooler one, called glutton. Gorge on berries, flowers, fruits, insects, nuts, and roots. You eat more per bite, and you gain 10% more defense thanks to your wide girth, but you lose 5% speed and 20% stamina with an extremely fast food drain and a low food intake. So you can eat less, but you gain defense and you lose a little bit of percentage in both speed and stamina, but the payoff is really good if you are going to be getting into combat. Now on to the hides. The first one is resilient scales. This increases your bleed and venom healing by 30%. We saw a lot of dinosaurs get this added to their ability slots with the latest update. We love resilient scales. Now a very unique ability for the Edmontosaurus Annectens called migratory hide. You increase your trot speed by 25%. It allows the Annectens to be able to eat and drink more by 20%, a significant amount, at the cost of 5% less armor and 5% less damage on all attacks. So you trade off damage and armor for 20% more ability to eat and drink, and that gives you the ability to trot 25% faster. So think about this. You get to migrate much further because you eat in abundance, losing your armor and damage, but then ability to traverse the map much faster. I think this one is so cool. Now we have the back kick for the leg slot, a mighty kick that deals high damage and huge knockback. In my testing, I was able to land this a couple times, and it was very clear that this is a significant attack. Once again, a unique one for the Edmontosaurus Annectens called Deep Breath. Use Annecten's huge lungs to full effect, allow me to have far more oxygen in order to help it cross large bodies of water better, even if out of stamina. I tested this and it is so significant. I cannot wait for you guys to try this out. You see the hippo influence in this dinosaur. You are able to, in essence, traverse under the water even when you're out of your stamina so well because your oxygen bar is really vast and your ability to move through the water is quite fast, like way faster than you think it is. This ability is very, very cool. Now on to the tail attack. The tail attack is generic. It deals knockback. We know it. We love it. It's very useful if you're trying to get things off of your back. And lastly, the unique Edmontosaurus voice called Earthshaker. Shake the earth with your roar, buffing you and other Edmontosaurus with 10% more damage and 25% health recovery rate. Now, it does have a long cooldown, but you feel the significance of the 10% more damage, I assure you. In our testing, you really, really got to feel what that 10% felt like. Plus, the 25% health recovery rate is always going to be beneficial. All around, a ridiculously good set of abilities for the Edmontosaurus Annectens. All right, let's talk Edmontosaurus Regalis. First, we have the head slot, which is the same as the Annectens. You have the bite, a very good medium-based damage attack. Onto the senses, here we have denser bones, the same one you had for the Annectens. You get the 35% break regen, but you do slightly decrease your sprint speed while increasing your swim speed. Then we have the front limb stomp, another great attack. You have less combat weight than the Annectens, so it's not quite as powerful. Onto the metabolism, you have herbivore here, the moderate food drain when you can eat berries and fruit. You also have pescatarian, so that increases your ability to eat many more things with a faster food drain. You now have a unique one here for the Regalis called Fat Reserves. Eat berries and fruit, decrease your hunger and thirst depletion rate. It increases your maximum food and water amount, and then it decreases your max stamina and stamina recovery rate. So you increase the amount you can eat, you decrease the depletion, but you also decrease your stamina in multiple different ways. So if you're not worried about your stamina and you want to really load up on your food and water, this is a great metabolism to use. We now have an abundance of different hides for the Edmontosaurus Regalis. First, we start off with tough scutes, which increases your armor by 25%. You also have resilient scales. This increases the bleed and venom healing by 30%. Then we move into the lightweight scales, increasing your speed by 10%, but it does decrease your turning speed by 40%, I will say this felt significant in the testing. The lightweight scales turning decrease did feel a little sticky, and I don't know if I enjoy it on the Regalis. Lastly, for the hides, we have the Hell Creek Runner, a unique hide which increases your stamina by 20%, but also decreases your turn radius by 20% and your armor by 10%. So increasing your stamina is great if you're looking to migrate with your pack, but do remember the decreased turn radius does feel pretty significant on the Regalis, so be careful when putting on your Hell Creek Runner hide. Onto the legs, you have your back kick. It is a mighty kick that does medium damage and high knockback. The back kick felt really good on the Regalis as well. Now onto back limbs, which does not have that aquatic style version that the Annectens had. Here you have the new ability called Traction that we just saw in the Night Stalker update, which increases your turn radius by 20%, but reduces your stamina recovery rate by 30. So if you're getting into engagements or you have to protect your pack, Traction is going to be where it's at. We also see Endurance Runner, which increases your stamina recovery rate by 30%, but decreases the turn radius. So you're seeing a lot of the same trend for the Regalis. A lot of things are going to increase your stamina or decrease your stamina, and then it's going to do the adverse effect for the turn radius. So you're going to have to be careful when speccing out your Regalis, because you could really make it turn very poorly, but have a bunch of stamina or vice versa. Now we have the tail attack. It's the same generic tail attack, deals knockback. It still felt really good when using it. Great to get little things or medium-sized things off your back when you're trying to make a play or get to safety. And lastly, we also see the Earth Shaker ability for the Regalis. Shake the earth with your roar. It buffs all Edmontosaurus with 10% more damage and the 25% heal recovery rate. This is the ability, I think, that really sets apart the Edmontosaurus from other large veggies. As well, if you guys are loving the Edmontosaurus updates, then leave a comment below and let me know what your favorite part is so far. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button with the notifications on, so you guys are always up to date with brand new Path of Titans news and information. Let's talk Edmontosaurus animations. First, we're going to start with the Annectens walking animation. You can see it moves slow, it lumbers, but it has this very powerful gait. It feels good when you're using it. Because you take such big strides, you still gain a lot of ground while you're moving. Then we have the running animation. Once again, very slow, very lumbering, but clearly some very powerful strides. This thing is not meant to be fast. It is meant to be a tank on legs. Now, you know, we had to stop to eat, so we found some bananas and we started taking a chomp. I love that the lips get purple. I love the dye from the food. It's so cute. You lean right in, you get a bite of banana, and you are good to go. And after you eat some bananas, you know you got to stop for a drink of water. So we're going to go over to the river. We're going to lean right down, stick our face in, and get ourselves a sip. Extremely clean and beautiful looking drinking animation here for the Edmontosaurus Annectens. We've talked general animations for the Annectens. Now it's time for the Regalis. And here we have the walking animation, which is clearly much faster. The stride is quicker. The pace doesn't feel as lumbering. This one seems to glide over the ground much more capably. Then we have the running animation, which has a faster stride and a little bit more of like a stout position in the shoulders and in the front chest. This one feels like, once again, it's gliding over the ground and you feel much quicker when running with the Regalis. And while we stopped for some bananas with the Annectens, we had to get some berries with our Regalis. Here you can see that face dye really happening with the berries, and that gullet lifting the head and just dropping those berries right down into that full belly. And once you're done with those berries, you know how it is. You got to get a drink. And much like the Annectens, we lower that body down, we grab ourselves a sip. I can't get over how good the drinking animation really looks. All right, let's show you guys everything on the action wheel for the Edmontosaurus Annectens. First, we're going to start with the grazing ability. You can see it here. We talked about the fact that it's going to give you a little bit of boost in your hunger, but it's also really beautiful. Then we have the look around animation, and this one is actually quite animated. You go from side to side very aggressively, looking to see if there's anything dangerous out in the distance. This one is great and really feels fitting for the dinosaur. Next, we have our shake. This is our friendly shake, just letting everybody know we're here just to dance. Now we have our calls, and here's the booming broadcast. Then we have our cute, friendly call. We have quite a powerful, threatening call here. A truly cute help call. And finally, our chat call. Now we have the Regalis actions, and here is the grazing ability. Next, we have the look around ability, the same thing, making sure there's no predators out there trying to hunt it. As well, everybody needs a friendly shake. Here's the Regalis higher pitch broadcast call. An adorable friendly call. A still quite menacing threatening call. A super cute help call. And the chat call. All right, for the Edmontosaurus Annectens attacks, here is your general bite. It does a lot of damage. You guys are going to be surprised at how well it works. Now we have the stomp. You can see this. You go up into the air, you take a nice long scream, and you bring both those hooves down ready to smash your opponent. It does an amazing amount of damage if you can land this. Then we're going to take a peek over the shoulder here and look at our tail attack. We've seen it a lot, but I want to show you how well this fits the dinosaur. It really moves efficiently and looks great when you're doing this attack. Now we have the back kick. The back kick is one of those tricky ones to land, especially depending on what you are in combat with. But if you do land it, you will do a significant amount of damage with this. And lastly, we have our Earth Shaker voice call. What a beautiful set of attacks for the Edmontosaurus Annectens. Now the Edmontosaurus Regalis. And we are going to start with the traditional bite. You see it here. It looks great even on the Regalis. As a matter of fact, I think it looks better because of that neck piece you have that dangles around while you bite. Then we have the stomp. Same thing. You lean up, you scream, you bring both hooves down, and you try to decimate whatever is underneath you. Then we have the tail attack. We're going to take a look from back here, and just like its counterpart, the Annectens, the Regalis looks fantastic in the tail attack. The motion of the body is great. Then the back kick here. I know somebody's going to start using this, and when you hit somebody, they are going to be surprised with how great this attack is. And lastly, the Earth Shaker call. Not only is that buff great, but it is awesome to listen to. As I was saying earlier, I was able to get the Edmontosaurus into combat with a couple other dinosaurs so that you guys could see exactly what to expect when you get into your own scuffles when you have this beast out in the wild. The fights turn out exactly as I expected, and it is an awesome showcase for what this creature can do. Let's check it out. Wow, I don't think that second fight could have gotten any closer. Leave me a comment below and let me know if you were holding your breath at the end of that second fight. As well, thank you so much to the Divine Beast mod team for letting me play around with the Edmontosaurus so I could showcase it for all of you at home. If you enjoyed the video or you learned something and you're excited for the Edmontosaurus to come out, hit that like button so other people can see exactly what the Edmontosaurus is all about. And lastly, if you want to stay up to date with news about Path of Titans and some of your other favorite games, hit that subscribe button with the notifications on so you never miss another video. I love y'all to death. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.